Hey, what's going on, everybody? Chuck Billy from Testament, and you're watching Chaos TV.
So what's up, everyone? Chaos TV is today here at Pakkahuone in Tampere, Finland, and we have Chuck Billy from Testament as guest here today. So first of all, hello and welcome to Finland, man, once again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's not the summer, so it's much colder this time around, but it's good to be back here.
And you had quite hectic ferry trip to Finland.
Oh my God, it was yeah. We were the last ferry to be able to get onto the ocean.
Yeah.
And after us, they cut all the ferries off. And maybe we shouldn't have been out there because it was very rough. A long ferry, all night long, just up and down. Everybody on the boat sick, and it was quite an experience. But we made it.
Have you ever experienced anything similar with flights, for example, having turbulence or anything like that?
Not all night long.
Yeah,
I mean, it started at midnight all the way through 6 a.m. Bad. So nobody slept at night. It was just rocking and all the glasses breaking on the floor and just, it was no sleep. So it wasn't a fun one.
So obviously you are so I would say this is like a family tour for you because you are on a road with Death Angel and Exodus, which are like your really long time friends. So overall, how has the tour gone so far?
So far, it's great. I mean, we're into about the first week, and I think so far 4 of the 5 so far have been sold out. So the fans have been excited for the tour. We're excited because this is much different than other tours. When we do other tours, sometimes you meet the band for the first time when you get to the first show. We're all friends already. Yeah. And so we have a lot in common and a lot of history back home, and we all know the same friends. So it's very much like a family, and it's very special. And we're all talking like, man, it's day 2, and man, no problems. Everything's running smooth. Everybody's getting along great. So it's everything we hoped it would be, and better. And I think as far as the fans, they're getting one hell of a show. It's definitely a representation of the Bay Area thrash metal sound that we all came from in the 80s. So it's awesome that we all get to spread the word, spread the love.
Yeah, this is like a dream tour for a thrash metal fan.
It really is, because I'm sure a lot of fans see all the bands on their own.
Yeah.
But to have all 3 of us from the same era, the same movement, the same style, kind of, it's nice, and it's good that we can support each other like that. Yeah,
and you still, even though you come from like the same genre, you are still quite different from each other musically.
Well, I think that's the beauty of the Bay Area thrash metal scene, is that, we all grew up like with Metallica and then early Exodus when they first came out, but all the bands that came after that, like Violence, Forbidden, all those bands, we all had our own identity. And I think that was something very special. And it wasn't something that planned. I think everybody just kind of found their own style of thrash and applied it to what they're creating, which is really unique because we all have our own identity and we all sound different, but we all have the same thrash style. Yeah.
So I actually just read news that there is some kind of like documentary coming out about the early days of thrash metal, like Murder in the Front Row or something like that. So you were also involved with that?
Well, we're a part of the book. They wrote, Harold O and Brian Liu and a few other people wrote a book about Murder in the Front Row, which is basically documents the Bay Area history of the scene growing up, and actually made it into a film that's being released soon. But it really does cover and go way back into where the Bay Area started, and and it does really show the history and the story of the bands.
So what do you see like as the main reason that some of the bands became like really big from the scene and some of them didn't? Because there's quite a lot of like really good albums in that genre that kind of didn't get where they maybe should have gotten at that time.
Well, I think, probably around the 90s when heavy metal kind of took a back seat to like grunge music and all that, it changed for bands. So a lot of bands either stopped playing or they got dropped from labels and took a little break. Testament didn't take a break. We kept playing along through it all. So like Death Angel reformed back, and so did
yeah.
Exodus, and since the reunion back, everybody's been writing great records and having great tours, and it's like it's like a revival again, you know. Which there's some great records for those times that were for that time, but those songs and those records still hold strong today too, you know. So there's something special about that.
So speaking about special and good albums, I actually just heard your upcoming album, Titans of Creation, and read some reviews where you praised the album to be one of your best ones. And normally those talks are like sort of like a marketing thing to say, but I was also really impressed about your work on that one.
Yeah, they're I think All Testament records since the Gathering have been pretty strong, and I think they all don't sound the same for sure.
No.
But we're always trying to chase ourselves to have a better song, a better mix, a better group of songs. You're always trying to do that, and bands usually it gets harder in the end, but I don't know, maybe because we've been working together so long, we know how to work together and we know what works together for us. So I think in that sense that this record, when we wrote it, we kind of just took song by song. It wasn't like here's a concept and we're going to keep all the songs sounding like this.
Okay.
That's not our style. I think we write song by song. And when we write records, we don't write extra songs for like the next album.
Yeah.
They're all for this record. So we concentrate on that. And I think like on this record, if you heard Titans Creation, all the songs have definitely their own identity.
Yeah,
they all feel different from each other. But if you listen to it, you'd go, oh, that's Testament. You would know.
I think the album has overall like quite dark vibe in it.
It's darker, and I think it's definitely thrashier than Brotherhood of the Snake.
Yeah.
It's a little more, I think overall, maybe because on this record, Gene came and worked with a little closer with us on the record, and Alex came to us and recorded in the Bay Area, and he wrote a couple more songs than he did on the last record. So I think maybe the involvement of everybody just really helped a little more to make it a better record. I think the
album sounds that you are like working as a tighter unit together. That's the feeling I got out from it.
Especially in the drum department, where I know in a lot of the last couple of records, Eric would really map out a lot of the drums and kind of present it to Gene, and Gene would kind of do his thing.
Yeah.
Where this time they worked together and they worked writing it, and Gene does a great job on this record. I mean, it's nonstop. So I think, and it can't hurt having DeGiorgio and Skolnick in the band playing, because they're all great musicians, and I don't think they could ever do a bad job on a record. So that's tough. So it's easier to just present them the song and say, here, you go with it. You have plenty of experience in this music, so we have full confidence in abilities and what they would do. And it was correct, you know. It's funny because you don't know when you're writing songs what it's going to be the final product. Once I heard all the mixes of the record and I listened to it as a whole record, that's when I sat back and went, wow, I enjoy it. It's a good listening record, you know. The songs are good. They all stand out, and it has a really good feeling, you know. And that's why I said I think it's some of our best, because it just gave me that feeling when I heard the whole record. I didn't have that when I demoed or did the recordings. I didn't know yet till it was finished.
So you set the bar quite high with Brotherhood of the Snake. So is that something that you kind of get pressure from, that you did really well, that you kind of need to top it? Or do you start from scratch and whatever happens with the album happens with the album?
Well, you always start from scratch, and I think in the past we probably put a little more distance between records. Where this one, we shortened the distance. You know, we wrote a record sooner. And when we finished Brotherhood, I actually told Eric, I said, you know what? I still feel like we can write right now, because we were on such a good feeling from Brotherhood that I got more songs and more stuff I want to go. So when it came time to writing, I think we were a little more anxious and ready to go, and a little more, because when it's like, oh, we got to write a record. Okay, now let's start this. And it's a big process.
I guess it's good to continue if you have the flow on.
The flow was there. For me, you know, I felt that the flow was there. And I think for Eric, because Brotherhood took about 2 years to write that record, where this one didn't take. We got into it and we worked pretty quick. And I think another thing is in the past, I would always listen to the riffs Eric gave me, and I would say, no, because he always thought I should sing the verses what he thought.
Yeah.
And I'd listen to the riff, go, no, I want to sing over that one.
Yeah.
And so he'd have to re-fix it. Where this year, he just gave me a lot of it, and I just went with it, and I wrote over everything. Even if it was a lead, I didn't know it was a lead yet, so I just wrote lyrics.
Yeah.
And then when I finally presented him, he'd say, no, that's the lead part, no lyrics there.
Yeah, okay.
So I just really soaked it up and did my best for the whole thing, and I think by doing that, I was more prepared, I think, going into the studio this time than last time. Yeah. I had a more of idea, a feeling of the songs better on this record, and I think it shows. On some of the songs, I used some different texture of voice, like City of Angels. I haven't sang like soft and clean like that for a few records. And it's a different feeling. It totally, and I do these different harmonies, and I never do that before. But I experiment it, and I push that out of my comfort zone, and because of that, I think it shines as a better record.
So you said that you were listening to the album through as a whole before kind of like getting a full picture of what it is about. So how important is actually like the track listing for you? Do you mix it up like a lot when the record is ready, that maybe this track should be there and this there? And
I'm not so concerned on that. Eric is.
Okay.
Eric's the guy when it comes time to put the songs in order. I just let him do it, you know.
So that's not the place where you start arguing that everybody has their own opinion how they should be in order.
Yeah, and it could be an argument because we couldn't agree, but I don't even need to do that. It's not, as long as the first track we agree there's going to be a good, strong track.
Okay.
Then I'm fine.
Okay, so that's the most important thing for you.
The opening track. And for this record, Children of the Next Level was the first song we wrote for this record, so it was kind of, the flow was going off the last record into that song. Yeah. So that kind of was starting the new process, and then the songs kind of just went the other ways, you know.
So you see these like albums like quite close to each other musically, if you kind of like continued where you left with the previous
musically,
one.
I think so, but I think creatively and performance, we took it another level.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously you have played the song Night of the Witch live already. So how was it like to add it to the set list, and what kind of feedback have you gotten from it?
We've gotten great feedback. The fan response has been awesome. When we were practicing for the tour, rehearsing, because this tour we decided that we've been playing a lot of songs for years on tour, the same ones.
Yeah.
So we decided, okay, get rid of all those songs. We're going to play all new songs for this set because it's time.
Yeah.
So we were practicing a lot of the songs, and rehearsals. We did like a week in California and a couple days in Germany when we got here. Out of all the songs, the first time we played Night of the Witch, it was so tight. Maybe because we just came out of the studio, but out of all the new songs, we're like, I thought that was going to be the most work, but man, that sounded the best.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's just because it was a good song and it just hits, but as soon as we started playing on tour, the fans have been like right on it, and I see them singing it like, okay, they know the words already.
Okay, and I guess it must feel also like really refreshing from like a musician point of view that you can actually bring something new to the table as well.
Yeah, but we're excited because the record's not out and we're touring. We're like, we want to play more songs off the record, but we can't yet. We can't do that yet. So we have a surprise next month towards the end of the tour to release the second song and play a second song live.
Okay.
So
you have rehearsed them already like quite well.
We will at soundcheck from now until then.
Okay. Yeah, you've been in this business for such a long time that you can do that.
Yeah. As long as the band has it tight and and we're ready. But we have like 3 or 4 weeks till we do that. About 3 weeks we'll be playing another song.
So during the summer you will be here in Finland for at least in John Smith Rock Festival. So how many new songs do you plan on adding to the set list by then?
Well, if Eric can have his way, it'll probably be like 6 or 7, but that's too much. I guess once we get in rehearsal and see what feels good live, because a song on the record definitely might not come across live as well.
So do you think about those when you write new music, that they need to work live as well? Do you pay attention to that?
Not when we're writing, because we don't all get together and jam the songs until we record the record. So we don't know until after the record's done.
Okay.
So that's why, like Night of the Witch, we're like, wow, that just came across killer right away and it sounded awesome, you know. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I already hear Eric after the second day. He's like, oh man, I can't wait to play more new songs. We should just play the whole record. I'm like, well, that'd be kind of fun to do too, you know, maybe a special show and just play the record. But we'll see. We have so much touring this year now that the record's done and out, and we have a full calendar.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's going to be plenty of times just to keep adding songs and adding and see how they feel and how the crowd responds.
I think it's like a nice gift for the fans to play through like like an album release show or something. That's because normally you don't hear like every song played from the album, so that's like really special also for the fans that they have the opportunity to hear the songs live.
Yeah, and we've done that before with other records. We like did the Gathering in its entirety.
Yeah.
The Legacy we've done, the New Order we've done.
Yeah.
So we've done that before, and this one particular, we're like, wow, maybe we want to do this one too.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, like I said, we're so busy. It might be into 2021, but you know, we'll see how it goes by then.
Okay. So hey Chuck, thank you a lot for your time and all the best for the future as well as for the upcoming album. Anything you want to say as last word to the fans watching this afterwards?
Just that, you know, we're excited to get on the road and play and see new fans. Hopefully, you know, there's new fans that get turned on to Testament that haven't heard of Testament, and hope they enjoy.
Thank you a lot for your time.
Cheers.